European bass is not only a commercially important fish species, but it's also really iconic for recreational fishermen. There's been growing concerns about the decline of bass in the North Atlantic, so it's just really important to study how bass use inshore areas, particularly where they may be affected by a lot of human activities. The project's called IBAS, which stands for Immature Bass Acoustic Stock Surveillance. The aims of the project are really to track immature bass movement in inshore areas. We're focusing on 3 designated bass nursery areas, the first of which is Salcombe Harbour, which is a RIA system, but we're also focusing on 2 estuaries, which is the Dart Estuary and the Torridge in North Devon. We are relying on angling and a variety of different netting techniques such as seine netting and pike netting to capture the bass for the project. A seine net is effectively a wall of fine mesh which you drag out into a creek. The top of the net has got a load of floats on the top, and then the bottom of the net has got a leaded line. You basically drag that out into the water and the fish just hit that net, and we trap them in it, drag it into the beach and get the fish. A pike net is a fish trap. You have 2 nets at the front which are called leaders, and they basically channel fish into a central net opening. When the fish get into that, they get funneled into a series of smaller chambers, and they all collect into a certain part of it called the cod end. Once we've caught the fish in the nets, we then transport that fish to a central tagging location where the tagging team are waiting. The fish will then be transferred into a holding tank and be held there until we're ready to implant the tag. The tagging team is quite extensive. We've got about 10 people on site. We've got about 3 surgeons and several people which are helping logistically move water, make sure all the tanks are properly oxygenated or aerated, and the pH and the temperature salinity are all fairly similar to where the fish have come from in the estuary. We ensure the welfare of the fish is as high as it possibly can be. We're operating under a licence from the Home Office, which is really strict. We're also assessed quite regularly by the named Animal Welfare and Care Officer at the university and the named Training and Competency Officer at the university as well. So there's 2 parts to the system that we're deploying. The first is an acoustic transmitter tag, which is it's about that big, and we put that inside the body of European bass. The tag will then emit a ping at about every 150 seconds. It emits a unique ping which can be detected by a series of receivers which we've strategically placed throughout our 3 target bass nursery areas. Whenever the fish is within a certain radius of that receiver, it will log that that individual fish has passed by. From the project, we're hoping to track juvenile European bass movement within these bass nursery areas and really just learn a bit about where they move, where they're feeding, and whether the current boundaries for the designated bass nursery areas are really any relevance to where the fish are moving.
Okay, I got involved by Tom and Emma coming in the shop here. Couldn't catch a fish, so they had to get someone to do it for them really. So I caught the first one. And I believe he's been called Chris, so that's happy days. Yeah, it's pretty cool to have old Chris Bass swimming around, pinging, starting to know where he's travelling and what he's doing. So it's quite nice to know that I've caught it, unhooked it, it's come back, they've done what they've had to do, and now he's swimming back around again, and we know where he's travelling. So for me, it would be really interesting to know kind of where he's gone, really.